I started my passion with broadcasting, television broadcasting, let me be precise, when I was 14 years old. So yeah. So I've gone through all the steps, be it on-air presentation, being the camera person, be it being a reporter and everything like that.
That was
However,
1980, 1990.
I will not specify, but certainly before COVID-19. But so Muslim, but I will not specify. It's a long time, but I was always sure about what it is that I wanted to do. Broadcasting was my great love. Let me be precise. Television broadcasting has always been my great love. But what I did study, and most people don't know this, is I'm not a journalist by profession. Yes, I studied politics, and then later I studied law. So I specialize in commercial transactions and in media law. But I've always been passionate about broadcasting. So everything that I've done has been to enhance my broadcasting passion. I think the first major thing that is affecting broadcasting, and I'll speak especially towards television broadcasting, are the changing times. The aspect of digitalization. It has come upon us, and it has come upon us now. If you have a media house, if you own a media house, I'm speaking from the perspective of television broadcast, and you have not migrated to being a digital platform or being a digital media house, really the future is bleak for you. I don't think you'll even survive the next 2 to 3 years. You must make that migration in every single aspect of broadcasting, especially when it comes to production. As you know now, with the advent of social media, news breaks every single minute. I don't need to go to journalism school to be a fantastic journalist. That has been shown over the years. Everybody who has a phone has the ability to be the next big thing, has the ability to break the next big story. So you as a media house have to be on top of all that. It's a very difficult time for media houses in order for them to stay afloat. Very difficult time, because unlike other professions, everybody has a stake on broadcasting. Everybody is a pseudo producer. Everybody is a pseudo presenter. Everybody has the ability to create local content that is relevant to people who they stay around, their societies. You know, there are people who have YouTube channels with over 20 million views. A person with a YouTube channel with over 20 million subscribers, or an Instagram page with over 20 million followers, is better than a TV station that's watched by just 50,000 people. And when companies, big company advertisers who advertise on television or broadcast are interested in spending their money, they're going to spend their money on people who can show them how much viewership that they have. So it's a big challenge, and the broadcasting sphere has certainly changed. Another problem, first of all, the first problem is the digitalization process. It's happening very, very quickly and very, very fast. Secondly, it's very expensive. Then thirdly, the quality of journalists that are being churned out. It's also a big challenge, but some of the quality of journalists out there in the field really need to be improved. Yeah. It's not surprising sometimes you meet a journalist who can't write, who can't ask the right question, who can't read the temperament of an interviewee. And all those are just basic journalistic principles. And those are basics that people should have. But I've met many journalists who struggle with just that, many young journalists who struggle with just that. So the adaptation to skill is very, very important. You need programs that can relate and can fine-tune a reporter to be the very best that they possibly can be, or a journalist to be the very best that they can be. I'm currently a board member on the MCI Uganda project, the Media Challenge Initiative. And why I decided to, when they asked me to be a board member, why I decided that it's important for me to extend my expertise to it is because I think that they've done a very good job in training young journalists here in Uganda. So we need more programs and more initiatives like that. I was at UBC for a long time, 11 to 12 years or so. Public broadcasters, public national broadcasters are very different from private broadcasters. In Uganda, UBC is governed by the UBC Act, number 5 of 2005. It is a government body, and it does have an editorial policy that guides the way in which it produces its content and the way it relates its content. So UBC tries to stick within that mold. It's the same as if you have a private station, a private TV station. The owner determines and dictates where that TV station is going to head. They have their own editorial policy and what it is that they want to do in the market. So the same way, UBC tries to be true to the act of Parliament that created it and to be true to those that own it, and that happens to be government. And also I think what's also important to note is that a national public broadcaster in any country, especially in Africa, has the right or has the platform to set the standard for all the other stations to follow. So we would expect the best reporting from UBC, would expect the best content from UBC, we'd expect the best procedures both in television and radio. So that's why the public broadcaster is there, actually to show the way to everyone else. However, I have managed a TV station, I've managed the TV section of UBC. And I will tell you that there are challenges certainly faced for women in the newsroom. The newsroom is not an easy place, it's a hard place. And many women find it very difficult to really settle in, number one, and also to get the best that they totally can get being a reporter. They're usually transferred to other positions in the organization that might be more conducive to them and their personal lives. So there are challenges there, but also there are some women who have greatly excelled when it comes to news reporting. Again, my story is very different. I'm a sportscaster, yeah, affiliated to FIFA and UEFA, and trained also at UEFA levels. So if I'm not doing sport here in Uganda, I also do it outside all around the world. When I was doing it here in Uganda, I was doing it with the games, that is the FIFA World Cup, the Africa Cup of Nations, and the UEFA Champions League. Uganda had real difficulties in getting those rights into the country. Now those rights are very expensive, and many people don't know this. This broadcasting rights, be it the UEFA Champions League, be it the Premiership, be it the World Cup, costs hundreds and thousands of US dollars. And many times, many stations could not afford it. And it came to a time that also UBC could not afford it. Yeah. So those were the challenges I faced when it came to things to do with football sportscasting. So I do it more now on an international scene vis-a-vis on a local scene. What more can be done when it comes to payments of journalists? I think there should be a move by the Uganda Journalists Association to ensure that the journalists certainly get better pay at the end of the day, because they do quite a bit of work. They do most of the work when it comes to the chain in a television station or in the radio station. So they must be paid for their talent and for their contribution. And I'm sure the Uganda Journalists Association in this country is looking towards that. I would like something that is well told, very informative, precise, quick, but also has its basis, where someone has done the necessary, person has carried out the necessary research before outing a story. And that brings me to the next challenge that we're going to face in the next 5 years. I told you about how journalism has changed now, broadcasting has changed. Anybody can be a pseudo producer, anybody can be a pseudo reporter. So long as you have a phone, you have a small camera, you have access to internet, you can do whatever you need to do, and you can broadcast in real time, and you can be the next big thing. However, we also have a lot of fake news as well, and I think this is what is going to separate the boys from the men. Will TV stations and radio stations, those who have the mandate, many times we've seen actually serious media houses take up a fake story, not knowing it was fake. So I think that is one of the biggest challenges we're going to see in the next 5 years. How will we be able to limit that which is true journalism and that which is false journalism? And I think it's going to have a huge impact on the broadcasting fraternity and the broadcasting industry as a whole. We will be speaking actually before COVID-19 and after COVID-19. I think a lot is going to change. I think more media houses are going to ask their journalists and reporters to become a one-man shop. For example, if you're a television reporter, can you also report for radio? Can you also report online? You just have to be a person who is multitasking and has the ability to do over 10 tasks for one station. I think that is going to be put into effect. I think there's going to be a lot more of digital media. I think there's going to be a total migration from analog, as we know it, right to digital. I think every single media house is going to be digital in every single respect. And I think also mindsets of people are going to change as well in the next few years, because everybody is seeking for good content. So content producers have a fantastic 5 years ahead. Those who are working in television stations, it's going to be a hard next 5 years, because the way TV stations or radio stations make money is through advertising spend. And if you don't have content that can guarantee you or can attract advertising spend, then you won't be able to make your money back, and that's going to be a challenge. So it's going to be 50-50, comme ci, comme ça. I think we're going to see a huge migration of people adapting to digital media, number one. We're going to see the internet costs certainly coming down. We have a population here in Africa of 70% being made up of the youth, and the majority of those people are below the ages of 25. The internet's going to be part and parcel of their lives in the next 20 years or so. So it's going to be very important for them to have access to easy internet, and I'm sure that's going to happen. But at the end of the day as well, those who are not able to adapt to the changes will be left behind. People are looking for local content that's adaptable to them. You can see now, in the past, people used to run to watch movies from Hollywood. Not anymore. People can actually watch African movies. In India, people watch Bollywood movies. Yeah? People want to see themselves on television. People want to hear themselves on radio. So at the end of the day, as a broadcasting house, you must communicate 101% using the medium or the language that people understand. Otherwise, you're wasting time.